Greetings. Welcome to the Brain Gauge channel. I'm Mark Hammerdahl, and I'm probably to blame for most of the content on this Brain Gauge YouTube channel. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of table of contents and show you how it's organized. And especially if you're an old guy like me, you're not always used to looking at somebody's Brain Gauge channel. Skip over the uploads. That just tells you what was most recently loaded. And what was most recently loaded is actually some of the older stuff. I'll probably update that with this video to start with. But then we have some introductory videos, and if you're not familiar with the brain gauge, that's probably the best place to start. And it tells how does brain gauge work, analysis apps, and overall introductions to the whole thing. If you want to sit through the little longer talks, then we have some brain gauge metrics. Basically, this tells you a little bit about each score. If you want to go into depth about the different scores, if you've been using the brain gauge, you want to know, okay, what is the speed metric, or what's the accuracy score, or the focus metric, you go and you can watch each of those individual videos. If you just need a quick reference, then go to the quick reference guide that's on that particular channel. Then we got a science channel, and that's basically looking at a whole lot of different things. These are things that have either been published or extensively studied with the brain gauge, or gives you ideas about what the brain gauge is, or how the brain gauge works better. Reaction time accuracy, for example, the brain gauge is 100 times more accurate for collecting reaction time than any other commercial device. And I can give you more information than you probably ever care to know on that particular video. Then we have a growing number of case studies, and whether you're using the brain gauge for personal or professional reasons, we love to hear your results. I mean, are you trying out? Are you looking at supplements? Are you seeing if supplements work? Are you setting up a study? Do you want to talk about the study, or do you want to show us results from that? Do you have a case study of a patient who's responded to treatment? And those are the kind of things we look at. And some of the case studies are published as well. Questions and answers, very self-explanatory. That's just exactly what it sounds like. People ask questions, and when they ask a question, I just make a video to answer it and stick that up there. Tutorials, basically the brain gauge is really easy to use, and there's several tutorials done by a 9-year-old. He's actually older than that now, so these videos were made a few years ago. But basically, this is a co-founder of the company's son, who just did videos on how to unbox, how to set up the brain gauge, and it's actually, he does a very good job, and it's very easy. But then there's other reference guides in here as well. Stuff that's in the news. This is growing as well. So when an article comes out in the news, and we have relevant things to talk about the brain gauge, and we go ahead and add that. Sometimes I get a little behind. I've got a couple of articles I need to comment on. Testimonials, we've just started adding these, just talking to people who use the brain gauge, like right now, Teresa Horab from Mind and Body, and talks about how she uses the brain gauge with her ISS neurofeedback treatment. Kareem Delgado talks about how he uses the brain gauge with brain mechanics, and then the very last section, oldies but good enough. Basically, this is just a lot of old stuff that was made several years ago. It's science doesn't really change, and that's so the stuff is still relevant, but it's older. And I try to redo this so that basically it was a little bit easier to watch. So anyway, that's it for the introduction. And one more thing, if you have questions, please send them my way. I am always happy to answer, and send them to me, and that would be mark@corticalmetrics.com or info@corticalmetrics.com, and just give us a shout out. Have a great day.